Tara, and I'm a registered art therapist currently practicing in Colombo. Today, once again, I'd like to offer you an art experiential exercise for you to do from home, either alone or with your loved ones. So just to do a recap of the things that we've done before, the first exercise that I offered was called Draw Your Breath, and that was to help you to relax and calm your mind. The second exercise was called Crumble Art, where we put out all our emotions and turned it into an image. In today's exercise, we are going to take it a bit further in expressing our emotions and venting out all that's stuck deep inside us. So stay tuned for what we have in store. So today's exercise, which I like to call Art to Overcome, is all about naming your emotions and everything that you're going through. So you might wonder, why is it important to name my emotions? Well, naming your emotions is the first step towards acknowledging what you're going through and dealing with it, and also taking measures to change things around you and within you. For some of us, it's easier to be in denial and to just brush things aside under the carpet. And that actually would do more harm to you and to those around you than good. So this exercise is also about mess making, and it's about becoming comfortable with that mess and turning that mess into something beautiful. So like I mentioned before, in art therapy you don't have to have beautiful or great art, but it's also about the process. It's all about expressing yourself, and it's all about how that process makes you feel and not about the end product. So for this activity, we are going to work with our non-dominant hand. So for me, my non-dominant hand is my left hand, but for some of you, it may be your right hand. And research says that working with your non-dominant hand makes you connect with your inner child. And in connecting with your inner child, it brings out a sense of playfulness, a sense of creativity, and it also connects with your emotions. So we'll start by getting your art materials ready. So you can have a paper, a notebook, or any scrap paper that you have available to you, and any art material that's available. You don't need anything big, it's just a paper, a pencil and pen. That's all you got, that's fine. But you can also use crayons, color pencils, felt pens, or even paint. So once again, before we start, you take your art medium in your non-dominant hand, and then you write out whatever emotions or whatever it is that's within you that's bothering you. So we'll start by doing it together. So I'm expressing how I feel about the curfew, about the virus, and it can be anything. That sometimes makes me angry, makes me tense. So I chose a bigger paper for this activity so that I have more area to make a mess and to really release all my emotions and everything that's stuck inside. So I've already written a few words, and I've written everything that's bothering me at the moment. So it's the curfew, the virus, how it makes me angry sometimes, how it makes me tense. Then I also get worried, and keep in mind we're working with a non-dominant hand. Sometimes it makes me sad. Wonder if we have enough supplies. Maybe even enough money. And maybe a bit of hopelessness. And then fear. So you don't have to really be worried about what it looks like, because today it's all about being comfortable with the mess. Then I also think about my family, friends, my clients, maybe also my neighbors. So I feel like I've been able to put out all the words that I needed to put out to help me to release whatever that's stuck inside. So once you have finished that, we move on to the next step. So now as we look at our work, this might make us sometimes feel a bit uncomfortable and uneasy. So what we're going to do now is, before we go to the next step, we're going to just take a few breaths together to help us to really calm down and become comfortable and ease out with the process. So you can close your eyes, sit comfortably, and if you're seated on a chair, to lean against the backrest of your chair, or if you're on the floor, you can sit comfortably on the floor. Okay, and if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, you can just focus on something in front of you. So we breathe in from our nose and breathe out from our mouth. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So some of you may have already followed this activity on the live sessions that we had on Instagram, but this is there's a bit of a variation from what I did in those activities, which is I've used a bigger paper this time, and I'm also using a different medium towards the end. So if you like, you can follow this again with us as well. So now moving back to our activity, the next step is, what we're going to do is we're going to contain our mess. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to create a box or a frame around these words as a means of containing all that is inside, so that it somehow feels like everything is in one place and we don't have to feel worried or anxious about it, because it's all somehow contained within this container of a box. So we move on to that step, and we are continuing to work with our non-dominant hand. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's about letting go of whatever that comes out and being comfortable with it. So you can continue to draw your boxes or your frames until you feel like it's enough. So I finished drawing my boxes until I felt like it was enough for me, and now I somehow feel like all this mess, all these words are contained for me, and it makes me feel at ease. So we'll take 3 more breaths together before we move on to the next step. So we'll sit comfortably once again, close our eyes and breathe together. So breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So now is our final step of the artwork. This is where you get in tune with your inner child and allow your creativity to come out. You can be playful with whatever art mediums that you have and do whatever you feel like doing right now. So if you have paint at home, you can just splash some paint, or if you want to cover up your words, you can feel free to do that. Or if you want to just create something on top of it, you can feel free to do anything you like. As long as, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn our mess into a beautiful artwork. And once again, we'll keep in mind that it's not about the end product, but it's about the process. And it doesn't mean, when I say beautiful, it doesn't mean that it has to look like a great Picasso, but it's just about how this process makes you feel. So let's start. So since I used oil pastels, I like to start by smearing my crayons a bit, which I've used to draw on the paper, and then I'm going to move on to using some paint. So you can feel free to do whatever you like to do. And we're continuing to use our non-dominant. So this is my end product. I managed to cover all the messy words, all the emotions and the feelings that I vented out, and I was able to create this artwork. And to me, this reminds me of a sunny day and a field of flowers, and the message that comes for me is about that after this process, once again, we are going to have sunshine, and things are going to get better, and things are going to return to normalcy one day or another. And if you don't have paint, these are a few examples of things that I've done before with crayons. So you can do the same thing with any art medium that's available to you. So I hope you enjoy this process, and it really helps you to come out of whatever feelings or emotions that you feel that you're really stuck in. Please do share your work with us, and if you need any further support, please do get in touch. Thank you. So before we finish, let's take our hands and give ourselves a self-hug. So you can close your eyes and rock yourself from either side to side or forward to backward. And let's just take a moment enjoying this hug. And take a deep breath and let go of our hands. Thank you.